Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome back to MHF. New show idea, ladies and gentlemen. We're cooking for you guys the 5 things that we learned this week, whether it be from Premier League related news or whether it be Champions League, whatever it is. We're going to be dropping you 5 things we learned this week every Tuesday at noon. You're going to get a notification. If you've turned on the notification bell, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turned on that notification bell. And you will watch this video every week, guys. There is 5 different things. We're going to be talking about 5 different topics. And let's just get straight into it. You guys know that we have to start immediately with a sprinkle of fraudulence. So I'm going to give Mo the mic because he has something that he learned this week.
Yeah, the number one point that I learned this week is that we are actually kind of overhyping Liverpool in comparison with the others, especially without a defender, without Alexander Isak still at the club. By the time we're recording this, Alexander Isak is still a Newcastle player and Mark Guehi is still a Crystal Palace player. I think Liverpool front line looks very strong, but they're very light in terms of numbers. Defense is very light as well currently. The team still needs time to gel. The likes of Wirtz kind of started slow. I thought he would start the season on fire. He would be like lighting up the Premier League. And we're going to talk about another player later that is going to light up the Premier League. Between City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and the rest of the league, I think they are strong. They are my favorites, but I thought they would be way more dominant than this, way more assuring in the midfield than this. That is what I believe. I saw a little bit of Kirkez. It's going to take time. Frimpong, he's not a right back, even though he had a better game than Kirkez as a fullback, in my opinion, this week, it was very surprising to me. Salah.
Yeah, when you say about hit the ground running, look, there are many players who have hit the ground running. I'll give you a prime example. Anthony hit the ground running for Man United. He scored a goal against Arsenal. Nunes hit the ground running. He scored a goal against Manchester City at Wembley. Haaland did not hit the ground running because he missed 3 tap-ins against Liverpool in the Community Shield. Szoboszlai hit the ground running. McAllister didn't. Guess what? 3 years later, McAllister is our best midfielder. So this whole hit the ground running, I understand the price tag brings pressure with it, but we have to be patient because players are getting used to a new league, getting used to a different style. The Bundesliga is quite a slower league in terms of pace, but Wirtz did pick up the pockets of spaces. He did really well. And at the end of the day, Endo's not going to be playing right back every week. Slot made the mistake. He made it. He played Endo right back, but then he fixed his own mistake by playing Joe Gomez right back and putting Endo back into midfield. My king, Italian king, Spaghetti Mafia with the winner. Big up Federico Chiesa. Grazie mille. Big up to you, Federico Chiesa. Absolutely love him. But Mo, there's a different thing that I want to bring up because we've already debunked this point. I'm going to cook you on this Liverpool thing, but we'll leave that for another time. Arsenal Football Club. What I've learned this week is that Arsenal need creativity. Arsenal need a different style of play. Arsenal in the final third need to be taking more risks. Me and Mo completely agree on Eze already. Arsenal need a left winger badly. This whole, he's not a left winger, he's a left 10. Can we stop getting so technical, guys? Frimpong is not a right back, he's a right wing back. As Mo just said, he looked better than Kirkez on the weekend. This whole he can't play left wing thing, I think is just absolute BS. I think he can play left wing, and I think it's exactly what the doctor ordered for Arsenal. With a striker like Gyökeres, I felt bad for him away at Old Trafford. No creativity whatsoever. Now I've got Odegaard behind him, Saka next to him, and on the other side I've got Eze. 3 creators surrounding Gyökeres so they can feed him the chances, they can give him the opportunities, and guess what? Maybe Arsenal starts scoring goals again, Mo.
Before we actually discuss this, this week we learned nothing new about Arsenal, which is what we learned about Arsenal, which is very strange. You guys know what? I'm being serious, by the way. Like, we learned nothing. Like, okay, it's the same old. You won 1-0. You're like protecting the lead, and Odegaard is dribbling, but he's still passing that pass to Saka, and they are over-relying on Bukayo Saka. If Bukayo Saka is nullified, Arsenal is nullified. Martinelli's trash again. Okay, I have a surprise. News.
How is he Brazilian?
News flash. Martinelli cannot go back to the form he was 4 years ago in 2022. It's 2025, almost going in 2026. So news flash to you. I think they need a spark. If it's not going to be a Rodrigo or Rafa Leao, they need an Eze. It cannot be just any winger, by the way. I'm just saying this. They need someone to carry the weight. If the midfield is not going to be as creative as we think. Okay, basically, if they're not going to have a Palmer, Wirtz, Reinders, Shirky there, if Odegaard is going to be a guy that keeps it ticking, keeps the ball going, they need two wingers that are difference makers, that are lighting up the rest of the league. You cannot have one winger.
I agree with you, Mo. The problem is Leao is, as per Fabrizio and all the sources, hasn't even been a target for Arsenal. Rodrigo, we don't know what's going on. He might just stay at Real Madrid after this whole summer. Sorry, Chabi. I'm sorry for thinking about leaving. I want to stay at Real Madrid. So Eze is the only option, and I can't believe that Eze spent the whole summer begging to go to Arsenal.
Please.
To go to Spurs.
Take me to Arsenal. I'm an Arsenal fan.
Please.
I've been
I'm
always
an academy graduate.
I'm always a fan. I don't mind if I sit on the bench. It doesn't matter. For Arsenal to say, well, you might want to go to our main North London rivals, you know.
Let him go to Spurs.
To be honest with you, I'm gonna say something, guys, that I want the comment section and I want your opinion. We shouldn't be worried, right? When should we be worried about Arsenal? Because you know that Liverpool, we're not worried. Liverpool will be close to the title, even if they don't win the title. But we know that. But when should we be worried? Is it today? Is it next week or game week 3? Well,
speaking of worried, are you worried about Man City?
Why? I'm neutral. I don't care if Man City do win.
No, don't do that, Mo. You're gonna say the third thing that you learned this week about Manchester City. Talk to the people, Mo.
Man City looks stronger than what we thought. Reinders, by the way, surprise. To me, surprise as well. He's actually the first ever midfielder, and this is overreaction for a game week 1. He's the first midfielder that came into Pep Guardiola's system and cooked from the beginning. No midfielder in Pep Guardiola's time at Man City 8 years that came in and hit the ground running. The players that were there before. But listen, I have to say that Haaland is going to score goals. I learned about things at Man City that, again, which is what that proves my point. Nico Gonzalez looked good now because it's his second year. The first year didn't look good. He looked good. Man City will score a lot of goals. Their defense is okay. There were holes in their midfield, in their defense. But what I learned is that you can never rule out fucking Pep Guardiola from creating a system that will work in the league. Pep Guardiola will be in the title race unless they get massive injuries like Haaland, because they don't have a striker, or someone like Reinders get injured. He's not a striker. I don't think.
I can score goals in that City.
Haaland is capable of getting you 25 goals if he stays healthy, 30 goals. Marmoush might not be. Some
City fans we work with say 30 goals minimum for Haaland, which is crazy. But actually, speaking of, I agree with Mo. I think Man City are back compared to what we watched last season. I mean, today, keep deep this. Mo's talking about injuries. Rodri didn't play in the game against Wolves. Rodri didn't play, so it's not like it was just Rodri. He was there.
They won without Rodri last season in the beginning, by the way.
In the beginning, they did. True. But they didn't have Ryan Deers. Ryan Deers was absolutely unbelievable. I think out of all the new signings, him and Ekitike probably stand out as the two best debutants in the English Premier League. They both played phenomenally well for obviously City and Liverpool. City will get counter-attacked. Listen, this is not new information. City will get counter-attacked. Liverpool will get counter-attacked. High risk, high reward. It's just the styles that Slot and Pep play. Very offensive football. I'm never, ever going to rule out Pep Guardiola. This man met me during when I was fighting with Pep Guardiola for a league title. I can never, ever rule out Pep. I've got way too much respect for that bald man to rule him out. I think you have to give him the respect. You have to give him the courtesy of one bad season. They won 7 and 8, 7 and 9, whatever it is. You get me? So they've cooked for a long time, City, and they are back. Haaland, 9 touches, 12 touches, 15 touches. Doesn't matter.
2 goals. 2 goals. Tap-ins, no tap-ins. It doesn't matter. He's there to score goals.
From one blue club to the other, let me start off this 4th thing that we learned this week. The 4th thing that I learned this week is about Chelsea. Now, what I learned is Chelsea need difference makers and they need to move the ball quicker, and Chelsea needs something else in the final third. Now, unfortunate news for all the Chelsea fans watching. The only two forwards you're linked with, one is fortunate, one is unfortunate. One is Garnacho, the other is Xavi Simons. Xavi Simons makes a massive difference for Chelsea. I think he's a very good player. Garnacho, the less said about that better. Let's not start talking about flipping. None of us are chefs at a restaurant flipping omelets. This ain't about flipping. This is about your football club actually winning on the pitch. You get me? So that's the problem. I think the game against Palace showed us a version of Chelsea that's very slow motion. It's almost like Pep, but with an Italian twist. Pep, like football with like pass, but with an Italian sprinkle of let's keep a clean sheet. Just before I hand the mic over to Mo, I think Chelsea's defense deserves credit. Third strongest defense in the league last season. And this year already, first game, they kept a clean sheet, so they've been defending really well. But they need to find the recipe that
But I think that is the problem. I think the problem is what you're saying. I think the problem because Maresca doesn't trust his two center backs fully. He kept Cucurella back. He kept Caicedo back. He held Enzo Fernandez back from going forward. Reece James didn't go forward as much. I think what happened in that game is that Enzo Maresca, who has been crying to the board, and the board is Enzo Maresca against the board is something that we learned this week. Like he's saying, I want a center back, and the board is saying, you're not getting a center back. You have to trust what you have. You have this and that. I think that the problem now with with Chelsea is that Maresca is not releasing the fullbacks, is not releasing the midfield like last season, like Enzo Fernandez, by the way, used to crash the box, be on top of the 18, be in the 18 when things are crossing. No, Enzo Fernandez is trying to defend deeper now. Cucurella is playing an inverted rule with Reece James being a third center back. That is too much defending for a team that is already, as Crystal Palace, were already dropping deep. And that's why it looked good from Chelsea's point of view in terms of defense. Only Eze was the dangerous. By the way, there was a one-on-one for Mateta, but that was a mistake, a wrong pass from Chelsea. Yeah. That was a bad pass. But in the same time, Chelsea need to release the forwards, especially against teams like Crystal Palace. But because they don't have
play Pedro on the lap together. I know you don't have access to be in now because you're no longer.
Even when he made the subs,
like for
took out. Yeah, like for like. He did not. He was scared of taking out a fullback or taking out a midfielder to put a forward. Like for like. Enzo Fernandez for Andre Santos. He didn't change the formation. He still kept the same formation the whole game. And that is why I think that he's scared and he's crying for a center back. Imagine if they have a top center back. I think they would be cooking Chelsea, to be honest with you. I think they'd be cooking.
Fair enough.
For Chelsea. The last point is that I tweeted that the other day. I said that I think the big six will be the top six this season. The first week proves that. Spurs under Thomas Frank look like a team that is way more composed.
Are you disrespecting Sunderland?
Not the big six. Not the big six. Have some shame on the quorum.
They have more league titles than Chelsea, but carry on.
They have more league titles than Chelsea. Spurs have 2 league titles in their history. I think there is like 10 teams that have more league titles than
You're
Spurs.
The one that said they're not joking. By the way, go ahead.
Yeah, they're not joking. Like I think Spurs, of course, if they get Eze as well, I think Spurs will be in the top 5, top 6 conversation. I think Thomas Frank is way more composed than Ange Postecoglou. Way more composed than Ange Postecoglou. I think he can. They have difference makers up top that are individually like Mohamed Kudus, Kulusevski. When he comes back, I think Mohamed Kudus with Kulusevski as well. And if they sign Eze, you cannot rely on Richarlison the whole season, but they still have Solanke. Mohamed Kudus himself, Kudus, can play up top actually as a false 9, and people don't notice. Himself, he can play as a false 9.
I don't know if the whole top 6 will be the big 6. Like maybe you are right, but I still need to see it to believe it. I think with Man United they played really well against Arsenal. Performance-wise, they were amazing. But we need to see next week what they do. I think someone told me they play Fulham next week or something. It was interesting because I was having a conversation with a United fan on one of my shows, and he told me he wasn't happy with the way that he played. We went back and forth, we disagreed, but I think Man United overall played really well, in my opinion, against Arsenal, but it's about consistency. So can they deliver the same level of performance next week? Because better performance equal better results. And United could with 1 game a week, maybe what you're saying is true. Now with Spurs, look, so far so good for Thomas Frank. I know PSG, you were 2-0 up and you bottled it, Spursy. But so far,
no, but that it's fraudulent. That they were unlucky against PSG.
So far so good though, but I'm interested to see how Spurs can handle 2 games a week. This was their Achilles heel last year. Every time they went in the Europa League, they took it serious. They were serious. And I think that affected their league form, which is why they finished 17th, but they beat Man United, hold that Man United. But I'm interested to see how they do with 2 games a week. So what you're saying could be true. All I'm saying is I just want to see it to believe it. So I don't co-sign this last point that you made. Anyway,
I
guys.
think that there's nobody gonna be there more than them. But anyway, go ahead.
Yes, fair enough. We'll see. Time will tell. You might be right. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed our first ever episode of 5 things we learned this week. Make sure, guys, let us know what you think in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribing to MHF if you're yet to do so. Of course, subscribe to Footy Judge Mo and Don Hussam as well if you're watching us for the first time. And if you're watching this pre-recorded content for the first time, come check out our live streams as well. We go live 3, 4, 5 times a week. Love you all and see you guys on the next one.